This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for USVI News. I'm Emily Matson. On St. Croix, police are investigating a shooting at a Wet Fet dance party event, which left 2 people injured from gunfire. It happened early Sunday morning at around 1:45 a.m. during the event, which was called Tsunami at the Lorraine Shopping Center parking lot in Kings Hill. A man and woman were both hit with gunfire. The man was shot once in his shoulder with non-life-threatening injuries. The woman was shot in her chin and was in critical condition, according to police. Anyone with information is asked to call police, the tip line, or Crime Stoppers USVI. And on St. Thomas, members of VIPD's Operation Gridlock Task Force arrest a man and get a gun off the street. Police arrested 44-year-old Aaron Christopher during a traffic enforcement last Friday night on Turpentine Road on the East End. VIPD officers pulled over a vehicle for not having a front license plate, and traffic officers say they've detected a strong odor of marijuana coming from the vehicle. So both the driver and passenger were asked to get out of the car. Police say the passenger, Aaron Christopher, the man you see on your screen, had a loaded firearm and several rounds of ammunition on him. Police say he did not have a license to carry and is now facing several weapons charges. As we begin a new week, we are seeing a bit of a decline of active COVID-19 cases territory-wide. According to the VI Department of Health, there are currently 208 active COVID cases territory-wide, with 133 on St. Croix, 55 on St. Thomas, and 20 currently on St. John. The case counts going down on all islands from last week. Anyone in the U.S. and in the territory is now able to pick up the phone, dial 988, and text, talk, or chat with a trained mental health counselor. It includes, of course, the Virgin Islands, but there are some concerns that many states aren't ready for what's expected to be an influx in calls.
3 numbers, 988. Now a direct line to a trained crisis counselor.
It really treats mental health on par with physical health, just like we have 911.
The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline started in 2005 as a 10-digit number. In 2020, the call line received 3.6 million calls, chats, and texts. That number is expected to double in this first year as the number has switched to an easier-to-remember 3 digits.
The number that you call is the therapeutic intervention, unlike 911, which is more of a dispatch center for medical problems.
But with more than 200 call centers nationwide already stretched thin, some mental health groups are worried 988 could exhaust resources and result in longer wait times and dropped calls. Officials acknowledge the Lifeline isn't expected to be fully staffed at rollout. Dr. Christine Umutier, Chief Medical Officer for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, says it's crucial for states and territories to get behind the local crisis centers and back mental health resources.
This will be a process of a build, and it's already been happening for months to years at this point.
Moutier says easy access to mental health help is critical to save lives.
In the great majority of cases, suicidal ideation is reduced, distress is reduced, and oftentimes individuals are ready to take that next step.
The nonprofit organization which operates the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline plans to soon launch a pilot program for LGBTQ individuals to call. The hope is that such a program could become a permanent sub-network similar to the one that already exists for military veterans, and add a more specialized crisis line for a community that is considered at higher risk for suicide and self-harm. Last month, Americans received more than 7 billion robocalls. Now, there's a new effort to stop at least some of them. Elise Preston explains.
When the phone rings, it's often a robocall, and one in particular is frustrating consumers everywhere.
We have not received a reply to notices that you have received in the mail regarding your vehicle service contract.
The call blocking app RoboKiller says last year Americans received almost 13 billion calls about car warranties.
At this point in 2022, it is statistically possible that every American who owns a phone number, so even if you have multiple phones, has received a car warranty robocall at least 3 times.
The Federal Communications Commission is cracking down on these calls.
The warranty is up for renewal. I'd like to congratulate you on your $1,000 instant rebate.
The agency recently told several voice service providers to stop allowing illegal robocalls, and the Ohio Attorney General filed suit against a telemarketing group responsible for billions of these calls.
The suit itself alleges unfair and deceptive acts and practices, and it also alleges illegal robocalls and robocalling activity, things like calling people who are on the Do Not Call registry.
Melissa Smith with the Ohio Attorney General's office says consumers are often duped into buying a vehicle service contract.
And that differs from a car warranty. And many times these calls make it sound like this is going to have the same protection as a warranty, but that's not entirely true.
How do you know when a call is legit or bogus?
That can be really hard, especially for this type of robocall.
RoboKiller's Julia Porter says if you don't recognize a number, just don't answer the call. And if you do answer and it sounds suspicious, hang up.
Last couple pieces of advice were key. Don't answer or hang up. And as we've reported, there is a dire situation in the territory when it comes to the continuous drought we're dealing with. The U.S. Virgin Islands Department of Agriculture is alerting both the farming community and families that the territory is in a drought, and it's asking everybody to please conserve water. The U.S. Drought Monitors have listed the territory as severe, hence why the department's recommending conservation methods. The department's working with researchers from the UVI and the government leaders to ensure drought conditions are monitored on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. The severe drought has led to major crop losses, widespread water shortages, and vegetation is very distressed. The drought's so harsh, at least one local livestock farmer says he's lost 10 animals because of it. Again, you're being asked to conserve as much water as you can right now. And the Virgin Islands is not alone. Europe is also baking in the heat. Record-setting triple-digit temperatures in Portugal and Spain are making it hard for firefighters battling a series of wildfires. And Italy is in the middle of a severe drought that threatens some of the country's most famous food exports. Chris Livesay reports from an Italian region that's literally running out of water.
We shouldn't be able to walk here.
This is foundations of bridge, and there was also a river port here.
Ancient Roman ruins in Rome's Tiber River dating back nearly 2,000 years, now revealed by a heat wave and Italy's worst drought in 7 decades, says Professor of Urban Planning Tom Rankin.
The water normally is up to our waist or shoulder height at this point, and now I'd say it's gone beyond the wake-up call.
Some towns are now rationing water, and Rome could be next.
Now, there's a trick to getting a good drink out of these Roman fountains. But that's only if you get here in time. The city is considering shutting them all off if the drought worsens.
Experts blame global warming. This month in the Italian Alps, 11 climbers were crushed to death when record temperatures caused part of this glacier to collapse. Downhill in much of Italy's north, the heat and drought have left rice fields for risotto bone dry, and the Po River Valley, which produces 40% of Italy's food, like pasta and wine, now in a government state of emergency. In the Rome countryside, the alarm is audible.
I can hear the grass crunching beneath our feet.
The Petrucci olive orchard has crafted exquisite extra virgin oil since the 1600s. But the drought has turned its future into a row of tombstones.
Half are dead.
Half are dead.
And this is one of them.
Yes.
Sabina Petrucci now has to truck in water.
What does this mean for people who want to buy good olive oil?
We will ask a lot more for the final product price.
So higher energy costs and the drought mean higher prices at the grocery store.
Yes. We have to think about all this business, even if it's a family business since forever.
So after centuries of making olive oil, this might be the end?
Yes.
And solving these problems have just gotten a whole lot more difficult. Last night, the Prime Minister of Italy tendered his resignation after one of the biggest parties in the country pulled its support from his government. So that means things like the environment and the drought, let's just say they're not Italy's only emergencies.